Biologicals are a driving force in agriculture's mission to feed a growing population while protecting environmental resources. But does the data-backed science lead to performance? Join New Leaf Symbiotics on a journey that demonstrates whether their unique biological PPFM technology moves beyond potential and promise to proof of impact on the acre. This is the Pink Performance Tour.
Well, we're so excited to be here in Circleville, Ohio, home of the world's largest pumpkin pie. We are not here to talk about pumpkins, however. We're here to talk about silage. So tell us a little bit about the operation that we're on here.
Yeah, so we're in a dairy in Circleville, Ohio. They milk about between 1,500 and 2,000 cows, and a large percentage of their dairy diet is silage. So very, very important to their operation. Operation's been in business for 22 years at this site, and they're expanding. And so, as a feedstock, silage is very, very important.
So managing corn for silage is different than managing corn for grain, right? What are the things that you're looking for really nice performance in silage?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different factors. You break it down into 3 buckets usually, right? So you have agronomy side. I have to be able to ton, right? I can have the greatest quality in the world, won't do me a lot of good if I don't have any of it. So you have to be able to ton first and foremost. And then second, you're gonna look at starch. Starch is the biggest driver behind milk volume. And then we're gonna look at fiber, which is the biggest driver behind components. So protein, fats, butter fats, which is a lot of places are moving to that now. So you've got to start make that a bit more of a priority than maybe you used to have to. And so when you're talking about management of that, it starts with hybrid selection, soil, just like everything does from grain, but actually a second factor, right? A grain farmer maybe puts the wrong hybrid out, maybe they don't get quite the result they wanted at the end of the year. A dairy farmer puts the wrong thing out, they not only get the result they want, they now have to feed that for a few months. So you get hit twice. And so that's why hybrid selection and utilization of technology is so important for dairies.
And now your team has been looking at PPFM technology specifically in silage. I think this is, what, the 3rd season now?
It'd be our 3rd season of using the PPFMs within our planter box solution. One of the most important things is plant health, right? Is trying to build the largest, most robust plant that you can grow. Grain's important, so you still want to focus on grain production, but plant health throughout the season, and then especially when you get down to the point where you're harvesting or you're chopping, right? Is the time you're chopping silage is very, very important. And a lot of people will miss that window, right? And it might get too late where it's dried down. Having a good, strong, healthy plant throughout the season, but also during that chopping window, being able to expand that and extend that period is just vital for someone who's raising silage commercially, or the farmer himself, a dairy farmer himself that's harvesting his own crop. And the PPFM technologies we've seen combined in our planter box solution have helped do that.
Well, and in recent seasons, you've been adding not just the corn biostimulant PPFM technology, but also TS201, the EPA registered bioinsecticide. And I was reviewing some of the reports this morning, there appears to be a benefit of adding that additional layer of technology in.
Yeah, we started out with the biostimulant side of things, and of course we saw that lift. We saw more tonnage, we saw the increase in starch, we saw the increase in more digestibility, right, within that silage. And in a lot of operations, especially silage operations, it's corn on corn, right? So we get corn on corn. Well, problems come with that. Yep. And some of it is establishing a root system in a corn on corn environment. The second is, corn rootworm, right? You can get corn on corn, you're gonna end up with corn rootworm. And the bioinsecticide piece of that has, what we've seen is, of course, the suppression of feeding, right, on the roots, which helps that root system grow. And then with the TS201, we're also seeing mid to late season just incredible regrowth of root systems.
If there was damage, they can regrow out of it.
Right,
Yeah.
so it kind of ties back to that whole mid to late season plant health in a silage system. Is with the biostimulant early and into the mid-season, we get that big robust root system going. We get early growth, and then when we get the TS201, the bioinsecticide, we're getting some insect suppression and insect control, and it's also adding a biostimulant effect that keeps that plant healthier mid-season into that late season, which is where you're going to be chopping and brings a lot of quality to silage and tonnage.
So you've even tracked it, not just looking at the quality of the chop itself, right? So you're looking at the starch, the digestible fiber, the undigestible fiber. You've even collaborated with researchers that have taken it all the way to feeding studies within the livestock and not just said, hey, if you have more of this, you probably will get more milk. You've measured it all the way through, right?
Yeah, it's a, you know, that of course adds a different layer because there's a lot of factors to a dairy diet. But the key thing for me that we want to think about is even your smaller dairy that's going to use maybe less is still minimum 40% of their diet is going to be silage. Small tweaks go a long way in a dairy diet. And so yeah, with the feed out, and where we see particular impact is the ability, you can't really alter the starch that much as far as its nature. It's more genetic based. But again, going back to that fiber, that's something that you can see a significant difference. And when you see that, we generally can say, if you say 2 pounds of NDFD, or 2% change on NDFD 30, 7 to 8 pounds of milk per cow, right? So that's huge.
We just continue to see these positive results when farmers are employing our planter box solution on silage corn when they plant it with the PPFM technology from New Leaf, the biostimulant effect, and then the TS201 with the bioinsecticide effect. The two together, we see big increases in yield. It bumps the tonnage up. It just consistently, we see that bump in tonnage.
And you even did side-by-sides where, okay, here's the same hybrid with just the base biostimulant, and then in the planter box, and then here's that same hybrid with the base biostimulant and the bioinsecticide.
Correct.
And you were able to see a stepwise.
It's very consistent.
That's great.
Increase, absolutely.
Well, we even saw that increase in areas that would not necessarily have corn rootworm.
Yeah. Pest pressure, even if it's low, we still see the additional tonnage for sure. When the two are paired together in a planter box solution.
We're excited we have an expanded label now for TS201 to reflect some of those impacts because it has such a unique mode of action where it helps the plant defend itself. Those defenses we're finding are relevant to much more than just corn rootworm, so we're excited for new things to come.
Yeah, the producers we have that are utilizing the technologies are really excited about the expanded label, and I can tell you from walking fields this summer and looking at these side-by-side trials, you could absolutely see the impacts that it's having in these, not only in field corn but in silage systems. Absolutely.
So if you look operation-wide, would a typical grower who's growing corn for grain and silage, would they know beforehand, okay, this field's going to be grain, that field's going to be silage, I'm definitely chopping that one, I'm definitely taking all that one to yield? Or is it more of an on-the-fly, oh man, I need to chop and that one's ready? How does that really work with the decision making at an operation level?
So I would say the way to answer that is yes, that usually is done in January, February, you're making that plan, and that usually stays in place until about March 15th. Or maybe in this geography, April 15th. When
then your plan falls apart,
then it all falls apart and you got to replan. And then you have a new plan, right, in the summer. This looks good, let's take this, let's take that. If everything was beautiful and it all worked out, we could have the exact hybrid on the exact field with everything we need. So the beauty of a technology like this is it doesn't matter what you end up using it for. There's still benefit from the grain side, silage side, quality side, starch side, fiber side.
So the PPFM technology is going to help you either way.
Absolutely.
So it provides that flexibility.
100%.
So we are so excited to see how this season shapes up with the trialing we're doing together on silage and on grain corn. And then, you know, looking into next season, we've got some ideas for what to test together, right?
Yeah, you know, we've really established the biostimulant and the bioinsecticide, and this year we've had a lot of experience with your new biofungicide, right? And Scott, you know, fungicides used in corn production for grain is pretty typical. What about the silage side of things?
Yeah.
What do we
I think
see there?
That's something we're starting to see more of. I think we had a lot of years where a dairyman thought, I'm going to chop it, so it's just, I'm not that worried about it coming in, but we see it coming in later for one thing, and it's coming in harder and more pressure. And so now the dairyman is stopping and pausing and thinking, okay, I better do this, because they're starting to recognize its effect on the quality and on the tonnage, probably more than anything.
So some of those late season foliar fungi are really actually taking a bite into even silage yield.
Right, exactly. Wow. Yeah, as some of those nasty diseases from the west have made their way east, we've started to have to think a little bit differently from the dairy standpoint, for sure.
Well, in grain corn this season, we've been evaluating our new biofungicide, and we've seen some pretty striking results on some of those late season pathogens, specifically tar spot and southern rust. So if that's also relevant to silage corn, that'll be really exciting to test all three together: the biostimulant, the biofungicide, and the bioinsecticide.
And what we've seen so far this year has been really positive. So we are excited about having that additional technology to bring into a silage system or a corn system for grain, because we talked about this, right? It's plant health, right? Plant health throughout the season, mid-season, late season, especially in a silage operation. I would really think the biofungicide is just going to bring another tool that helps us keep that plant healthy and growing, and the highest quality when it's ready to be harvested.